Welcome back to Gold Rush the game. In my last video for this, I did say if we reached 50 likes within 48 hours, I will come back, use a drilling machine, and actually find some good spots for gold. Still haven't got round to doing that, but I'm trying to do more tips videos on the channel. So what we're going to do in this video is go through how to set up the tier 5 wash plants. The biggest gold mining wash plants you can get in the game. There is obviously a journal, but if we take a look at the journal, it doesn't exactly tell you how everything needs to be done. It just gives you the basics. I'm going to tell you exactly every single thing you need and exactly how it gets set up. I'll show you it all because I've got it all set up. I used it in my last video for this game. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. There's just a few things, like if you go down to the store or you order your stuff, you might forget a couple of little bits. So hopefully this video is going to help you out. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off with just the large excavator. Just make sure you have one of these. You are going to need to use this with steel cables in order to move all of your wash plant and get it set up properly, like to put it in position. I would recommend possibly the 4 and the 5 meter cables, just because you don't really need any more. But if you fancied it, grab yourself the 7 meter cables. It really doesn't matter. But for things like the trommel, it's a very, very big piece of machinery, so you're not going to be able to use the 4 meters. Like, you might get away with it, but oftentimes the cables will come loose, like they'll snap, and it's just going to be a nightmare. So just grab yourself couple of different lengths of cables and get yourself the large excavator so the arm and the bucket can lift up high enough and actually get the stuff off the floor. So now we're going to turn around and we're going to go up to the little washroom, wash area, whatever you want to call it, that I have set up. And I was playing this in easy mode, so everything cost $1. So I'm not going to go through the prices of everything, but I'll tell you exactly what you need to set it up and how you can set it up. And then if you're playing on normal, I'm pretty sure if you're at tier 5 or close to tier 5, you're going to have a lot of money anyway. But for the washroom, what you're going to need is the wavetable. That's the very first thing. That is going to basically funnel through your pay dirt and find all the bits of gold. Then you're going to need a magnetite separator so that you can grab the magnetite from the pay dirt. And you can use that to upgrade your blacksmith to make things faster to get your gold bars and everything. And then a machine that is completely optional is the gold nuggetator. This, instead of you using buckets and having to wash the mats in the buckets, you chuck all of your mats into this machine. It will do 6 of the miner's moss, so the bigger mats, or it will do 8, I think it's 8. No, it might actually be 12. I think it does 2 each rack and there's 6 racks. So I think it does 12 of the hog pan mats, so the smaller moss mats. It will do all of them in one hit. So this is very, very helpful. It's a lot more efficient, but it's optional. You don't need this machine. You need the magnetite separator and the wavetable. They are mandatory to having your washroom. So all 3 of these machines that you're going to need to do your cleanups are all going to run off the same cables. They use 1 small power cable and 1 small water hose. You can buy splitters so that you are saving. You'll see them, like I've got a splitter on screen right now. You can buy splitters so that you don't have to use several different like water pumps. You don't need to use several different power generators. You can just run it all off one. So what I've got set up is a power generator that's got a large power cable running into the back of a splitter. Then you have the 3 small power cables that go 1 into each of the machines. And then we have exactly the same thing for the water side of it. But I've got a water tank here so that I can just drive this over to the water tower, fill it up with water, bring it back over here. Then all you need for this is a medium water hose that leads into a splitter. And then you have 3 of the small water hoses that 1 of each goes into each of the machines. So that's all you need for this area, is literally just the machines, 1 small water hose, 1 small power cable, couple of splitters, 1 for water, 1 for power, a generator and a water tank. I've left the fuel tank up here so that I can just keep refilling this power generator. And that's it, you're set to go with all of that. So we're now going to move on to machinery. And you have a choice with this depending on your money situation and how you want to do things. You can run an excavator if you want, so you can just sit in one area, you can dig up the pay dirt. Or you can use a front end loader. Mine is actually behind that Frankenstein all the way in the distance over there. Those can be used to dig up the dirt, and then if you've got the DLC, you've got the money for it, you can purchase the Frankenstein, which is a big conveyor belt. You can just use your front end loader or your excavator, drop your paid dirt onto it. It's going to go up the conveyor belt, and then you can drop it directly into the conveyor belt hopper that is linked to your wash plant. But if you don't have the DLC, you don't want to buy the Frankensteins, they're too expensive, you can just grab yourself a dump truck, then just fill up the dump truck, drive it over, drop it off into the wash plant. And you'll probably need spare fuel tanks, these little like portable mobile ones, you'll probably need spare ones, because this claim that I've got is pretty big. So instead of you having to keep driving back to a big fuel container, you can just drive around with these portable ones, set them up near your machines. It's just more efficiency. And then, moving on to the main part, the wash plant itself, you're going to need a big fuel container, because that is going to give you fuel for your big power generator, which you will also need, like the big power container. And then you're going to need the conveyor belt hopper. The conveyor belt, this is just for efficiency. I'm pretty sure you can just use the shakers and directly dump into there if you want to. I don't know if it works for all of them. I'm pretty sure one of them you can do that, but try and get yourself the conveyor belt hopper and the conveyor belts, because it's going to save you so much time. Then you've got the choice of shakers. I've got the Glacier Creek because I'm on $1 mode. And then if we have a look going down here, you have a few sluice boxes. I'll tell you the exact names, but we've got a reinforced trommel. You obviously have choice of trommel as well. And the sluice boxes are an S-Rocks, which is this big fat one. That's for the small rocks that come out of the shaker. They can just be dumped off like down here. And then this long thin one that feeds from the shaker into the trommel, if I can make it in there. This one is called an ST sluice box because it goes from shaker to trommel. And then we have two TDJ sluice boxes, which are the ones that go from the trommel down into duplex jigs or gravel pumps. And that's all of the sluice boxes you need for the main part of the wash plant. So that's all the way from the conveyor belts down to the trommel, the sluice boxes, I've got gravel pumps, you can get duplex jigs as well, if you want to, if that's a better option for you. Then you're going to need 2 hog pans, and make sure you get the ones with the pumps, because you're going to need to feed water in. And that's basically just going to like grab any excess that comes off the top of the gravel pumps. So 2 hog pans with the pumps, then you get the sluice boxes for them and get the extensions. And then because each of these will take 4 of the mats, the hog pan mats, you're going to want to grab 8 mats so that you've got 4 for each of the hog pans. And then moving up to the sluice boxes that come off the trommel, you are going to need 3 of the miner's grill for each of the sluice boxes. So you're going to have to buy 6 overall. And then what you have to do with this, you can't use the hog pan mats. If we come down here, you're going to have to buy 12 miner's moss. You need 12 because for each of these miner's grills, the ones that are highlighted now, for each of those it uses 2 miner's moss. So you need to have 12 for the 6 grills that you've got to set up on these sluice boxes. And then what I would do in terms of buckets, you can see I've got some spare ones here. I would grab yourself 12 buckets. The first 2 are going to be for the magnetite separator, which is back over at the washroom. We'll quickly run over there now. So we're going to scrap 12, 13 buckets. 2 for the magnetite separator, 1 for your gold to come out, 1 for your dirt, and then 1 for the gold nuggetator if you have this machine. And then we've got 10 buckets left out of the 13. So all 10 are going to be down here. We're going to use 2 for the gravel pumps, 1 for each of them. And I'll quickly see if I can grab a bucket and show you exactly how it works. So you'll see you can pour dirt into the hog pans if you want to, although you don't need to do that. And then just down there, you can connect a bucket up to each of those. So 2 for the gravel pumps, and then I would just have 8 spare so that you can do several hauls and you can just keep feeding your wash plant over and over. And you can just come down to the gravel pumps, you can switch out the buckets, and it's just so you can do more mining without having to go back to the magnetite separator and basically the washroom, so you don't have to go back there so often, and you can basically just keep mining, grab, you can get as many buckets as you want. I just recommend 13, 3 for up at the washroom, 2 for down here at the gravel pumps, and then just 8 spare, so you can do 5 runs of like just filling up both buckets on these really. So that's all of the buckets. We've pretty much gone through everything now. I'm just having a look at my list. I've written all of this down because it is quite tough. Like it's pretty straightforward once you know what you're doing and once you've had it all set up. But what we're going to need now is 5 of the big power cables. So if we come back up here and we come round to the power generator, you'll be able to see the nameplates on the power generator itself. But 5 of these large power cables, we're going to have one that goes to the conveyor belt container, which is the hopper. So one that comes over to here, one that comes to the conveyor belt itself. Then we're going to have one that goes into, you should see it there, Glacier Creek. So one that goes into the shaker. Then we're going to have one that goes to the trommel, which actually goes, I think it goes directly through my shaker. If I walk through here quickly, you can see the power cable there. I can't remember exactly where it plugs into. I think it's right there. So a power cable for the trommel, and if I make my way back up the top, if I don't keep getting stuck on everything, go back through here, and what we're going to do is the last one is for a power splitter. So you have 4 for the main machinery parts of the wash plant. The final one goes into a power splitter, which comes down here. Like it all depends on your claim and everything. But I've set this up so that it's got 2 small power cables, and each of those come down and they power up the gravel pumps, one in each of them on the far side. So you're going to need the 2 smaller power cables as well as the 5 big ones. And that's everything set up for power. So now onto water. You can use water pumps, although I've chosen not to because I'm in dollar mode. I can just do whatever, whenever. So what I've done is I've built up this water tower because it's going to save time of keep constantly filling up pumps. It holds a lot more water. You can see it's actually holding 1 million gallons. So if possible, whatever claim you're on, try and fix up a water tower if it has one. If you are using this water tower and you're not using the water pumps, then you're going to need to grab 2 large water hoses, which are these big fat blue ones. And the one on the left hand side for me is going to lead out to a large water splitter, which is over here. And then from the water splitter goes into a medium hose. And that goes directly into your shaker so that you have water in the shaker. In my case, it goes into the Glacier Creek. And then from the other connection I've got, the large water hose that's in the middle connection, but the one on the left for me, because I only have 2 set up, goes again into a large splitter, goes into a medium hose, and then comes down here to a smaller splitter, splits into 2 small hoses, and one of them each goes into the hog pans. So you're going to need 2 large water hoses, 2 mediums, and then 2 smalls. And then you'll just need the 2 large splitters and 1 small splitter. And that's everything set up. That's your entire tier 5 wash plant, all good to go. Then all you need to do when you're ready is simply go over to the water tower, twist the valves where your water connections are. That will get water flowing into everything. And then in your power generator, you can do it all separately if you want to, or you can just come around to here, you can make your way inside, or not even inside. You can start all. There's just a button there, it turns everything on, and then when you're done, just engine stop, and that's going to turn everything off. So you can power everything up in one hit, just twist your 2 valves over at the water tower if you've got that set up, and you're good to go. Use your machinery, do your digging, find your gold, make your riches. Job is done. And on that note, that's going to do it for the video. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it helped you out. I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.